All right, good morning, everybody. How we doing? How we feeling? A little bit of a late start today. Just really enjoying my meditation session. Let me get my everything, if I can get all these pop-ups out of the way. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and check out our pre-market insight, our economic calendar. All right, so for today, the only thing we have is crude oil inventories. And then tomorrow we have core durable goods, GDP, and jobless claims with pending home sales. And then Friday, nothing. All right, so again, just pretty much a normal week in terms of economic events. Let's go ahead and look at that power range report. All right, so for NQ session today, we got a power range high of 13,701.75 with a low of 13,663.50. The sentiment is neutral. When I posted this, we were up 0.47% with a volume of 63K and an ATR 247.32. Go ahead and look at that at the calendar. All right, the calendar at the chart. All right, so you can see at the beginning of the session, had a decent little bullish run of the PR+1, and then we've just been kind of hanging out in this small range. Some interesting bearish dips within this range. Like we just kind of slowly chop our way higher and then just hang around, and we just drop suddenly back to the PR50 zone, and it's just been kind of doing that the whole session. So interesting price action, but nothing's all that exciting happening as of yet. We'll see what happens when the market opens up. Just want to take a quick look at volume from a 30-minute perspective. So the volume looks kind of light also. Just in each period of time. All right. Let's go ahead and take a glance at the rest of the market. So with ES, we pretty much got the same story, same price action, a little bit above the PR+1, but just looking at the structure, it's basically the same. Just trading in a tight range for the entire session. Nothing much has changed on the daily from our last meeting. Yesterday wasn't, it was kind of choppy also yesterday. I was able to pull a little bit of profit from the market, but kind of just got a lot of visual experience yesterday. All right, so let's go ahead and go to crude, since we got the inventories this morning. All right, so overnight we were kind of trading sideways until the European session had some buyers coming in. Retraced that before the pre-market, and we've been just selling off into the open, all the way down to minus 6. The power range -6. All right. So as usual on the crude oil on an inventory day, I would wait until that event happens before I would take a trade. I used to trade this, and I used to trade through it, and it's the price action is just too wild for that report. So go ahead and look at gold. Again, gold has been just up down throughout this session, although it's giving us some good opportunities. Some wild price action. Had some buyers come in right here at 8:30, and then took it up and just completely retraced all of that and some, leading into the bell. So that was about broke out of that range about 824 and completely destroyed that support, that new support by 9 o'clock. All right. So we've seen this price action from GC, all month. So it's nothing new here. By this point, we should know how to trade it if we're trading it. On a daily perspective, it's still climbing. So that's, for the long-term investors in gold, that's good news for them. Traded back above the 200. We're holding that. I would expect some retracement back to this range. It doesn't necessarily have to make it back to the 200. It doesn't have to retrace at all. It can just keep going, but I would expect just a little bit of retracement at some point. Go ahead and look at the euro currency. And it's trading pretty much the same as crude, interestingly. Nice little bullish run overnight. Started selling off before the European session. Hung around during the European session and been selling off in the pre-market. Let's take a quick glance. And I'm just kind of running through these because I got started late, so that's on me. Russell just completely trading sideways. Depending on your strategy, this could be a good price action to trade. Let's look at the Dow. Same thing with the Dow. Trading more so in line with ES and NQ. But the drops are not as violent except for right here around 2 a.m. Eastern time. All right, go ahead and get my pre-market snapshot. Got to prep my music last night. It's got way too much going on this week. Been a little loose with the routine. Speaking of, what's things going on. Next week may be a little, or maybe slightly different. I'm going through a move, so there may not be a stream on Monday. Just still some things up in the air that I gotta, before I can actually set a actual schedule to move into where I'm moving. But we'll see how that works out. And then of course I put all the updates in Discord. Yeah, that's why I put all the updates. So if you want the latest and the greatest, the Discord is definitely the place to be. Link is in the description below. All right. And the open in a couple of seconds. Remind myself the only goal is to trade the strategy to perfection and always see the big picture. Got a nice bounce off this balance zone, this balance level here at 675. I think this was, I think I saw this same balance level yesterday. Yep, that was significant also yesterday. On days like this, I would be interested in trading the edges of the range, staying within the, I guess I can call it the rules of my strategy until it breaks the range. I can tell that the range is small until by looking at the volume profile. Like I usually can't see the colors like this on Sierra chart with the the normal kind of price action that we've been getting lately. You can see that we're trading in a very tight range, which means that I can be a little bit more. I can size into the positions a little bit more. Got a little bit more of a control over my risk. That is an interesting first candle. See, we got buyers that came in, but also there's some selling at the power range high. Got some negative delta on the board, so I'm just kind of watching it. We got our session low at 663. Actually, in hindsight, I could have taken PR50, even though that's not an area that I usually am looking at to take. But we do have structure there as well as volume. It's a little mentally distracted by some comments that I get a lot. I hate when I mess around and I open up my YouTube to set everything up, and then I see the little notification bell up there, and then I end up reading the notifications. I gotta stop doing that, looking at the notifications before I trade, because sometimes the comments be a little wild. It's not anything negative or anything, just you get the same questions over and over. Just thinking about the best way to respond to that. This probably should make a video, but I just still don't feel like it's all that valuable, even though people are asking. It's the what I like, I want to be. I think I'm gonna take one right here. Even though that's not a perfect setup. Yeah, so with that trading the way that it's trading, it definitely shouldn't trade back bullish. But we are still in this range, and we do have sellers sitting up there while I'm looking. So we just got a nice little battle going on. So anyway, what I was saying is, I like to post content that provides value, but it's my perceived value. So there is that kind of a battle in there. Some of the questions that I get, I feel like it's just out of curiosity and fear. So I don't feel like me making a whole production out of it is providing a whole lot of value. So these are the things that I have in mind while I'm deciding on what kind of content I want to make for the channel. Is this much like yesterday where we're just chopping around? Not a whole lot of stuff going on yet. I do. So per my strategy, I do have to be a buyer on the balance level. I'll scale into it lightly. Feel like they're gonna hold it in this range for a while before they, much like yesterday, they was just setting it up. They ended up, kind of trapping both sides before I don't even think yesterday they picked a level, a direction. So they kind of did bearish. So we can see that they ended up trapping both sides depending on how most people trade. So it looks like we're could possibly be setting up the same type of situation. So I'm not gonna be that aggressive on the breaks. I still prefer a pull back. Again, we flashed like we were gonna break higher and immediately pull back. Doesn't mean it can't, continue to go higher. It's just the way they're chopping this price around, there is a good chance that I won't take a trade this morning, depending on what we get in the next 30 minutes ish. By the reaction of this candle that we're currently in, it could be within the next 3 minutes. I do see red on the Delta board, but it's not extremely significant. Looking at the daily structure, we could be at an area to where price could turn around. Screenshot. I'm not looking to hit a home run here. I just let that stay like it is. So I got to set up the scale into it if it continues to trade lower, even though I don't feel like it. I was going to take it a little bit different, but I decided I'm just going to scale into it this way because, you know, it extends below what I think it's going to do. But we shall see it. Just taking it really light. We're trading in an extremely small range, so I don't have to worry too much about risk, as in taking too much risk. Decide how patient. Just looking at this price action, we can get back in if we need to. Took a scalp there, but I'm gonna leave the other ones open. The other orders open. Looking at the session low as well as our PR -1. Also keeping my delta in mind, as well as mostly the price action. Still see that battle between the buyers and the sellers. Let's see. I'm just gonna keep this one open. So far I got a whole 8 ticks. So this is, the stage is being set to look in favor for the bears, but the price action doesn't look like there's a lot of energy to the downside. So we'll see how the next few minutes set up. So looking at our delta in the last 30 minutes, relative to the entire session, the price should be selling off a little bit stronger than it is. So the fact that the price is being held up right here by selling, kind of tells us the same thing that we saw back in, I know for sure, April, maybe also in March and February, where the market was going higher with a lot of selling. There was mostly selling, but the market was trading higher. And by the market, I mean NQ, ES, mostly NQ and ES. I think the Russell was pretty much trading sideways. But what I mostly look at is NQ and ES. So one way that I look at it is, the game as the sellers being trapped, but also it could be positioning building. So a lot of people are expecting a major correction, and with that expectation, those who are looking to profit from that major correction or crash could be, setting up their positions now, which that's the way that it was, that's the way that the big money plays. We're looking to get in and take and take a trade, or how we're looking to get in and ride the momentum or take breakouts and all that stuff. They've already set their positions up, and they're taking profits as we're getting in. This is how they introduce trading to retail traders, or introduce the markets to retail traders. They will set the positions up for themselves, put out news and stuff to get people excited about certain stocks, and have retail traders buy into stocks while they are selling off and taking their profit as they introduce the retail traders into whatever stock it is. And they just keep pumping it, loose term of that word, until someone's left holding the bag. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a retail trader that's left holding the bag. So our goal as retail traders is to try to get in, to try to see it as quickly as we can, react to it, and get out before they lose interest in taking their profit. right? Usually scalping for day trading, scalp strategies that usually work the best, because you're just taking advantage of that small little move inside of the bigger move that's happening in, pretty much in the background. So with that this is what I expected to happen. I just went ahead and I didn't want to play with it. Just went ahead and took what I had when I had it. Wait, I wanted to do something else, so I, just in case it didn't do what I wanted it to do, I didn't want to unnecessarily hold a losing position for too long. Because it still doesn't have a lot of energy. We're just chopping around. What does that volume look like? Got 115K for NQ. I feel like this volume is light. I need to get myself used to looking at the volume more often, so I have a better point of reference. Like I do it on a daily basis, but intraday is where I need to give a little more attention to the volume intraday, just so I have a point of reference for days like this. Because we get this kind of price action with this typical volume, that tells us a few things. And the way that I read it is, well, it just depends on, what the structure and everything, but this kind of price action with a lot of volume, to me looks more like market making type stuff. You get that kind of volume with institutions or, big money. It's usually trending because they're doing what I explained earlier. They've already built their position, and so now we're, doing what we got to do to move the price higher to get more buyers, or to get on the reverse side to get more sellers to come into the market, to get retail traders to come into the market, so we can take our profit as retail traders come in. So if you haven't done so already, a documentary, if I can talk, a documentary that I would recommend watching it's in my Discord. I think I put it in there. But it's about the 1929 crash. Why this price action isn't really doing anything. Go and look at that. I did not put it there. Alright. So note to self, put that documentary in the media room. Oh no, I put it in the financial literacy channel. So that documentary right there. This is a good one to watch. And then if you're really interested, if you're really curious about the history of the market, allow yourself to go down the rabbit hole. But of course, when you watch this kind of stuff, watch it subjectively. I shouldn't have to say that. And all these documentaries and books and movies and all that stuff is based off of one person's perspective. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the 100% truth, but it is their truth. So this is why we have to watch things subjectively and read things subjectively, and then give ourselves multiple sources of information so that we can form our own opinions about whatever it is that we're learning about. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this last order I got. I don't like trading this kind of price action. probably why I think ES normally trades like this. It's probably why I don't like trading ES. Actually, we're getting more movement with ES. Traded down to PR minus 1. Pushed our session low lower and gave us a nice bounce off the PR minus 1. I'm not even paying attention to this over here. This is my data collection. Also getting myself used to trading in multiple accounts at one time. Another thing I'm planning on doing that after I get done with all the stuff that I got to do, all the events that I got going on this month or this week or the next couple of weeks, is I'm going to open another Leeloo account where I'm going to basically be more aggressive. Just to see how that works out. Almost in a nothing to lose fashion, but of course always sticking to my plan, sticking to the strategy. Just I'm not gonna overthink it at all. Just if it reaches my level or something that I'm looking at, I'm not gonna take too much. I just want to have that comparison for mentality, or not mentality. How can I explain it? Just taking it based, completely solely based off levels versus based off of, knowledge, I guess, or experience. Because I can have a level, so from experience, I can have a level that I see and it doesn't look, or normally, looking at the price action and just putting putting different things together. Without the experience, that will be a level that I would take, but the experience tells me that, okay, the way that this is trading, it's a level here, but it's not trading the way that I would want it to trade in order to take it. So just like right here, where normally, this will be a good level to take off this balance level, but we don't have the kind of price action that I would like to see in order for me to build a full position out of it. So in this other Leeloo account, I'm going to take it more so like I take it over here in my data collection thing that I'm doing, which is really just getting myself used to trading in multiple accounts at one time at this point. I've already collected enough data to tell me what I wanted to see. So now it's just getting used to trading in, just building the habits, building the muscle. I'm brain dumping right now just because of the price action. Is like watching paint dry. I've already decided to Just take the small profit in the Leeloo account for today. And I'm pretty much just going to popcornize it for the rest of my trading session. Okay. I was like, what happened to my tunes? It's a long pause. So we're continuing to slowly drop the price. Just took the session low a couple more points. Introducing setting the stage to make it look more appealing to short sellers. But I'm not really seeing the follow through that I would, expect on a heavy selling day, on a real selling day. This looks like arbitrage to me. And of course, the disclaimer, this is not financial advice. I'm not, telling you anything to do with your own personal accounts. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Take what I say with a grain of salt and trust yourself. Yeah, I'm glad I took myself out of that position earlier. So I would have loaded into that second order. Excuse me. But, we really haven't seen any real movement with NQ. Got this battle zone trading. looking at the price action, my personal opinion, so we did have some, it's a little bit of, we having a reaction here at the power range low. But in my personal opinion, I do feel like eventually we will take the price back higher. How high, of course, no one knows. But I just don't see a lot of follow through to the downside with this price action. Now, again, I could be wrong. We do have a lot of, the Delta board looks completely red, almost. The volume is light. Very light, well, yeah. It's lighter than I'm used to seeing. In that first 30 minutes. If you're looking at the TPO chart, that would be the A period. Of course, depending on how you got your chart set up, how your lettering works. I need to make that video. Something I had to figure out was how to get the letters to match the time frames that I wanted. Work on that title, but I know what I'm talking about. And speaking of Sierra chart, don't forget I've got the quick start guide that you can download for free. The link should be in the description. Yep, it sure enough is. So the link to those quick start guides are in the description. With much more to come soon. All I will say is keep an eye out, or mark June 19 on your calendar. June 19th is gonna be a big day. More info on that to come a little bit later. Gonna drop that seed right there, June 19th. Say it real soft in your ear, June 19th. So another push back up to the balance level. Still no price action, no energy in this market. Very interesting to see how things turn around. See what happens around lunchtime and in the afternoon session. If things ever pick up, or we just continue with the market just dragging its feet throughout the rest of the session. How slow they're moving this price is actually kind of scary. It makes you think about what's to follow, but exciting at the same time. Whatever they do, we are prepared for it. We've done our due diligence, so we can take advantage of it once we see what's going on. And taking advantage of it could mean that you profit from it, or that you stay out of the way while it's happening. So no trading is also positive trading when that no trading is not necessarily being trigger shy, but you're following your rules, you're following your plan, and you're not just out there just gambling and playing the market like a casino, or you're just betting on black with your eyes closed. You actually, you have your strategy, you have your plan, and you follow it. But what you need to, whatever you need to make a decision of taking, or executing any order. If that doesn't pop up, if that doesn't show up, and you don't take any trades from that, that's a good day. You got to be disciplined, and consistency is at the core of being successful at this business. Because even you can have a quote unquote bad strategy, but if you're consistent with that bad strategy, it could actually turn out positive for you. You're not gonna, and by bad strategy I mean like you have a strategy where you lose a lot, you take a lot of losses, but if you're consistent with that and you got your risk management in place, then you can still end up with some profits. Definitely with those kind of strategies, you want to win more than you lose. You want to win bigger than you lose. So you want to take bigger winners than what your losses are. As you gain experience, you can fine tune, you can tweak, you can do what you got to do to improve your accuracy, or improve the probability of your strategy. But at the end of the day, you always want to make sure that you're staying consistent with your execution, consistent with following your plan. Consistency is how you get. Consistency is the thing that people actually struggle with the most, but not a lot of people talk about. A lot of people talk about the actual strategy, or they talk about the other parts of the psychology and the fear and all that stuff. But if you're being consistent, and really in all aspects of life, consistency will get you results. What kind of results you get, that's going to fluctuate, but consistency will get you results. And with all that being said, we are at the end of my trading window, so I'm going to go ahead and close the shop because I'm not seeing anything interesting in this price action. So I hope y'all have a good rest of the day, a good rest of your week. Hope y'all find something to actual, interesting, worthwhile trading today. And I will see y'all whenever I make the next one, because I don't know if it's going to be Monday or not. So have a good week. Have a good weekend. Trade it easy.